It is Sunday. Hopefully everyone's getting a holiday and getting off work tomorrow, making it a 3-day. Hope you've had a good weekend. I know I have. It's been pretty nice. We got a little bit of snow here on Saturday morning, mostly melted off, but it was a nice little change of pace. So yeah, it's been a good weekend so far. So, a little synopsis of what this little series is about is basically, I'm going to try and do a weekly video of me transitioning out of the Air Force for my retirement come December 2024. Again, trying to just do a weekly video, just kind of wrap up what I've done for the week as far as, preparing for my transition, right? And so just kind of one of those things, just thought it'd be kind of fun, kind of cool to look back on, to do this and just try and, keep myself accountable to doing something weekly. And then also, for my own self, it kind of just lets me reflect on what I got done that week as well, and just kind of helps me prepare for the next week to know, hey, this is what I need to be doing, things like that. So that's kind of why we're here and why you're seeing this video. Hopefully, if you clicked on it, hopefully you'll stick around, subscribe and just kind of watch the series as it unfolds. Videos probably aren't going to be super long, probably anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes, but just kind of, again, just a little quick synopsis of, my time, transitioning, getting ready for retirement from the military. I am Air Force, so some things might be Air Force centric. They might not apply to the branch that you're in, but overall, a lot of this is DoD policy. So, for the most part, you'll should be able to get some value out of it, and your transition should go pretty similar to what I'm going to experience, I'm sure. So this week, each week, I'm trying to have a little bit of a theme to it. So I kind of wanted to talk this week about education. So I'll preface that by saying when you sign up for DoD TAP, typically your installation is going to have a 5-day course. 3 of that is congressionally mandated. And then they also put you into certain tiers and things like that. And that kind of dictates what all you must take as part of TAP, right? Beyond that, they have other courses that you can choose to enroll in and take. So at the installation that I'm stationed at, we had our 5-day TAP, and then they had other avenues broken down. So one of those is education, another one is small business, I think another one is entrepreneurship. So each one of those are broken down into 2-day tracks. And so last week I had signed up for the additional 2-day track for education. Now, I do have my bachelor's degree. Luckily, I used my TA while I was in service to get a bachelor's. But at the same time, if I get out and I decide to pursue a master's or a doctorate or whatever, I kind of wanted to be prepared and understand how to use my benefits, right? So that's why I signed up for the 2-day education. The first day ended up actually just being a virtual day. They had you... they just sent a link out for the DoD TAP website and just had you register and log in for the education track there, and you pretty much just spent the day doing it virtually if you so choose. I'll be honest, if you're familiar with enrolling with a school, you're familiar with what services schools offer and things like that, it's probably not going to be super beneficial for you. If you're not sure of those things, it'll be great for you because it really lays out, especially when you're talking about going in person. It lays out all the things that schools have, all the services that they have. And with colleges, it's not a one-stop shop. You just don't go to student services for financial aid. You go to financial aid for that. There's a lot of different entities that are built into the college campus and into the college lifestyle that you're going to want to be familiar with to make sure that you're going to get the right service that you're needing to get. So with that being said, if you kind of are unsure about how to do that, how to navigate those things, then doing the education track will be very, very, very beneficial for you, and I would recommend it. Again, if you're pretty familiar with how enrolling with school works and all those things, you might not get as much value out of it, but that's something for you to decide and for you to figure out whether or not you want to spend your time doing that 2-day track. The nice thing is it's on the DoD TAP website, so it's pretty much available to you at any time. You actually don't have to sign up through your installation to get access to it. So again, it's just one of those you could do on your own time outside of the normal DOT tap timeline you might have set for yourself with your installation, right? So that's kind of the good piece about it. The second piece of it was at my installation, the skill bridge brief is part of the education brief. They're tied in. And so the second day, I did go into the classroom and, did the skill bridge brief in person. That way they'll actually open up, my skill bridge application on the portal. That's how the Air Force works, through our education portal. So I needed to get that in-person skill bridge brief in order to have them open that up and let me actually be able to apply for skill bridge. That was the big reason of why I went ahead and signed up for this track. Plus I was just curious to know what information was out there. So again, for me, at my installation being Air Force, it made the most sense for me to get into the skill bridge brief so I could get that knocked out by going to the education brief. With that said, the rest of the day kind of just went over the stuff that was in the virtual class that we did the day before, the self-paced CBTs essentially. So it wasn't a whole lot of added benefit. And again, it's one of those, like, there's only so much you're really going to be able to talk about education. And again, there's a lot of avenues to get information out there. And I'm not discrediting the course or anything like that. Absolutely sign up, do it. You'll get value out of it regardless, I believe. I think it just depends on where you're at and what you're trying to get and what knowledge you already have as well. I'm a person that does a lot of research beforehand to kind of know what I'm getting myself into. And so, with college and all that stuff, how my GI Bill works, how I can use it for my family, all those things, I've pretty well already researched leading up to this. So I really didn't need those questions answered in this class. But there were a few people in the class that did have those questions. So if you're not one that really does the research and things like that, then absolutely sign up for the 2-day tracks of education and knock them out and do it. It'll be a wealth of information for you, and it'll definitely open you up to kind of understand what options you have out there if you decide to go back to school once you leave service, or later on, you might decide, 3 or 4 years from now after you've gotten out that you want to then go back to school. So you'll kind of know, you'll have an idea of where to go and where to look for those resources to get you enrolled in school, and, make sure, see if you're eligible for the Yellow Ribbon program, how your GI Bill is going to pay, if you've got the 9/11, how your housing allowance is going to pay. All of those things will get answered in the 2-day education track. So if those are things that you're just not sure about, you've got questions about, definitely sign up for it. Definitely knock it out. I would highly recommend it for really anyone going through this process. Because again, even if you think the more information the better off you're going to be. And it also is one of those things you can also help others around you. You can kind of give them an idea of what your experience was going through the class and the information that you gained. And so you can kind of share that information for somebody that's not quite to the point of ready to get out, but they're thinking about it. You'll kind of be equipped with some of that information that you can give them as well. So it'll definitely just help you out in terms of helping others as well. So definitely something to think about. Really, that was the only thing I really did this week, kind of to focus on, my transition piece was the education TAPS class. Otherwise, it was kind of a busy day at work. I did talk to one of the companies that I'm looking to skill bridge with. At this time, they've made an offer to me to bring me on as a skill bridge. So I'm pretty excited about that. The only pitfall right now with them is they can't guarantee, they don't have, they can't say up front if they're going to have a position for me, which I totally understand, because I'm not going to be able to actually, transition into a full-time gig until December, and it's only February. So it's understandable. Most companies aren't going to know until, 60, 90 days out if they're going to be able to bring you in. So it's perfectly normal, and no fault of their own. So I'm just happy to kind of have that option and know that I've been accepted into their skill bridge program. And if that's the route I end up taking, I'm good to go on that. So that was really, the only thing I did this week as far as, preparing and doing stuff for my transition. So yeah, the other big piece that I kind of thought about this week is my retirement ceremony. I'm trying to get that locked down. Got to get some dates locked down so I can start making plans for that, letting people know, if they're going to travel in, when those dates are going to be, so they can, start making travel arrangements. So that's just another piece that I've kind of had on my mind and been trying to get taken care of and get nailed down. But that's really about it for this week. Again, I'm going to try and do these weekly. I hope, it provides some value to you. If you're thinking about getting out, you have any questions, leave a comment. I've been doing this for coming up on 20 years now. The Air Force has been pretty good to me and my family. I've enjoyed my time, but we're ready to move on to something else. But again, if you've just got a general Air Force question, whether you're transitioning out or whatever it is, leave a comment. I will do my best to answer it. Other than that, like I said, I hope this, content gives you some value. I hope you stick around and kind of watch the videos as they progress throughout the year. And I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that like button and subscribe. Thanks.